and feel the margins of the bicipital aponeurosis and relax. We're going to go back up to the top of the shoulder and locate, see if we can locate, using a flat palpation, strumming across the tendon. I'm trying to locate the bicipital groove, or what's referred to as the intertubercular groove of the humerus. And I'm going to follow that tendon down until I lose the tendon, and then I can begin to use a pincer palpation once again to pick up, slightly pick up.
Oh, Mr. Bones here once again with a bony pop quiz. Now, tell me, which bones does the biceps brachii attach to? Tell me proximally and then distally. If you said the scapula, you'd be correct. If you said the radius, you'd be correct too. Oh, ho, ho. See you later. Bye.
The muscle belly of the biceps brachii, and then I can contract that muscle, go ahead and pull up so I can feel where the tendon is inserting here and relax. Good. Now let's take a look at the triceps brachii. First, we'll contract this muscle. So Lynn, can you push your hand into my hand and raise your shoulder up? We can see the distinct margins of this muscle as it runs down the posterior aspect of the arm. And relax. Thank you. This muscle has three distinct heads. We have the long head, which attaches or originates on the infraglenoid tubercle of the scapula, which runs between the teres major and the teres minor. So to palpate this, we have to use a flat palpation technique and move across the muscle tendinous attachment. We'll follow this muscle downward using a flat palpation technique. We lose the muscle belly here. We transition into, once again, a flat palpation as we move across the tendinous insertion point, which is on the olecranon process of the ulna. We'll come back up and palpate the lateral head, which attaches on the posterior surface of the proximal half of the humerus. We use a flat palpation technique once again to identify the muscle fiber direction and muscle belly. Trace it all the way down towards the elbow. We lose the muscle belly approximately here. It turns into tendon, and the tendinous insertion point is on the olecranon process of the ulna. We'll come back up on the medial aspect of the arm and palpate the medial head, which attaches or originates on the posterior surface of the distal half of the humerus. So we palpate through the long head using a flat palpation technique to the tendinous insertion portion of the muscle down to the olecranon process of the ulna. You can also palpate these muscles using a pincer palpation technique, beginning with the lateral head, tracing the muscle down, and we can also pick up the tendinous insertion aspect of the muscle. We'll come back up, use a pincer palpation technique for the long head. See the muscle belly very well here. All the way down to the insertion on the olecranon process of the ulna. We'll slide under the long head and pick up the medial head of the tricep all the way down to the insertion point on the olecranon process. Now we're going to palpate the triceps brachii. So what I'm going to ask Kevin to do is to contract this muscle so we can see the different muscle bellies. There's 3 distinct muscle bellies, and then we're going to outline those borders of those distinct bellies. Here we see the muscle belly for the long head. Here we see the lateral head. Here's a piece of the medial head. Here's another piece of the medial head of the triceps. And relax. We're going to bring the arm into adduction so that we can palpate the long head first. And the long head has an attachment, an origin, onto the infraglenoid tubercle of the scapula. I'm going to ask you to just lift your arm up towards the ceiling for me and relax, so I can just kind of trace that tendon, because we have to go underneath the posterior deltoid that we palpated earlier. We also have to go between the teres major and the teres minor muscle. So we're going to slide into this space and palpate that origin on the scapula, the infraglenoid tubercle. We're using a flat palpation. Then we're going to bring the arm back down into abduction so that we can pick up, using a pincer palpation, the actual muscle belly of the long head. We're going to trace it down. We lose that muscle belly right here, and that transitions into tendon. So we're going to use a flat palpation to follow that tendinous attachment down to the olecranon process of the ulna, which is located right here. Then we'll transition up here to the top of the shoulder and feel for the lateral head, which attaches onto the posterior surface of the proximal half of the shaft of the humerus. So I'm going to use a pincer palpation once again to lift this muscle up and trace its belly down towards the elbow. We lose the muscle belly right through here, so we're going to transition into a flat palpation as we follow the more lateral aspect of this tendon as it runs down and once again inserts into the olecranon process of the ulna. The last head that we're going to palpate, and let's just contract it again, if you can just, the last one that we're going to do is the medial head. Relax. And the medial head attaches on the posterior surface of the distal half of the humerus. So posterior surface on this distal half. So we're looking at this region right through here. Now to palpate this, we saw the distinct, go ahead and activate it one more time. We're going to differentiate out the different muscle belly and relax. So we're going to use a pincer palpation on this actually medial aspect of the medial head of the tricep. We lose the muscle belly here, we transition into a flat palpation, and we follow it down to its insertion onto the olecranon process of the ulna. Let's activate it one more time, and we can also see another small piece of this belly as it protrudes here, and relax. And I'm just going to outline that using more of a flat palpation. I can feel that that's distinctly under this tendon right here, so I'm just going to strum across that and follow it down as it inserts onto the olecranon process of the ulna, once again right here. The key to developing good palpation skills takes a tremendous amount of practice and repetition. The musculature of the shoulder region is an excellent location to refine and develop skillful palpation technique.